It's time for Bourbon with Friends, the bourbon podcast that never takes itself too seriously. Pull up a chair, grab a glass, and remember, a bourbon with friends can change the world. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bourbon with Friends. It's me and Martin today. We are missing Brian. He's in Kentucky, right, Martin?
He is in the Tucky of Ken's right now.
He's in Taterland.
Does that happen every time that he plays the intro? Like the intro plays? Because I never see it on my side.
No.
Sorry guys, I'm letting people in on the little behind the scenes secrets there.
Yeah, that never happens. We're winging it. We're just the what do you want to call it?
The face.
The personalities of this whole thing.
Yeah. You hear that, Joe and Brian? Hope you guys are.
They're gonna hate me now.
Yeah, have fun at Wild Turkey. No, but yeah, to be fair, they are doing a little event. Adrian and myself are unfortunately not able to make this event. Otherwise, we would also be in Kentucky right now. But we are here hanging out. How's your weekend? You went and saw a musical act.
I did go to a concert last week. I went to see Mary J. Blige. It was amazing. I like the third time I've seen her, so I can't really say anything. Really? But she's my quote girl crush. She's my favorite. So
did you? And you're up in Detroit, right?
Yeah, I went up to Detroit, Little Caesars Arena up there. It's pretty new. It's a really nice place where the Red Wings play. It's
called Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah, like pizza.
I know what I kind of thought so, but I just think it's like I'm not a sports guy, you know that. But like it's so insane. Like whenever I see like the sports stadiums that used to have like these cool names, and now it's just like Prudential or something like that, or like you know whatever it is. Like what is the one that we have out here? Like the Comiskey, which it used to be called Comiskey, and then it turned to U.S. Cellular where the Sox play. Now it's like
something else though, right?
Yeah. It's like StubHub Stadium. Like who cares? That's insane. I get it. It's not that. It's not that at all. Like why would that be it? But no, that's cool. Well, that sounds fun. Nothing crazy in my little world. Again, just hanging out, doing our thing. But today, we are a podcast that deals primarily with bourbon. Sort of. I've been trying to change that slowly but surely, getting in things like American single malts and more focus on craft and rye and even wheated. We've talked about quite a bit. Today, we're venturing into somewhere we have not ventured in before. And that is something of more of a grain spirit versus bourbon or scotch or any single malt really that we've been talking about in the past. So we are very honored to have our guest today. Adrian, would you like to do a little introduction of our friends here?
Yes, we have Sondra and Caylee here with us from MUJEN Spirits. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Let me go ahead and we'll add them in. Welcome.
Hello, ladies.
Hi, guys. Great to be here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest, I did not say your last names because Caylee, I did not want to say yours incorrectly.
Hey, it's been said that
go
way.
Ahead, Caylee.
It's Kretschmer, and it's been mispronounced probably a billion times throughout my life.
Yeah. Mine is equally difficult, so I thought I'm just going to leave that alone. So
mine's
why don't
easy.
you guys? Yes, yours is very much so. So what we like to do, if you guys want to start out by just letting us know a little bit about yourselves and actually kind of give us the MUJEN story and how it came to be. Am I saying it correctly? Can you say
that? You're saying it exactly correctly. Yeah. MUJEN with a J.
MUJEN.
Yeah. MUJEN.
Okay.
MUJEN.
Sondra, I'll let you dive into the story.
All right. Well, MUJEN originated little over almost 6 years ago. I had never heard of shochu before that. And somebody came to me and said, what if I were to tell you there's this alcohol? It's Japan's #1 spirit, no sugar, no carbs, no hangover. And I mean, it kind of had me at that, but, and it, and the world doesn't know about it. It's over 500 years old. And I was fascinated. And I said, well, what is it called? And he said, it's called shochu. And I literally said, how can that be? I have never heard of it before. And that kind of started the journey in the sense that I went and started reading about it. And then I went to some restaurants in LA, some Japanese restaurants, and tried it, tried some barley shochu, tried a sweet potato shochu, tried rice, which I fell in love with, and just fell in love with it. And that was the beginning. And then it was during maybe a little time after that I decided I wanted to bring this really to the Western world, and ended up going to Japan to hunt down the sort of the best rice shochu. My partner Bruce Bozzi and we went there and tasted a lot of different shochu, and there was one that we fell in love with, and it was in the Kumamoto prefecture, which is southern Japan. And this particular distillery is 120 years old. They've been making the rice shochu exactly the same way. They're still family run. They're run by the great granddaughter now, and it was kind of a match made in heaven. And yeah, I mean, that was the beginning. I was not in this business, just fell in love with shochu. Same with Bruce. And I mean, it's kind of crazy, but now 6 years later, here we are, and we've got this incredible product that we love. And we launched in the US, and now we're launching. I'm in London right now, rolling it out, and as well as Paris. So
nice.
That's the really abbreviated.
The really abbreviated. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were lucky enough to be introduced to Caylee, and I'll let you tell your story, your part.
Yeah, I've been doing wine and spirit sales for nearly 18 years now. When I got introduced to Sondra and the team and MUJEN, it was about nearly 2 years ago, and immediately, like, I had known about shochu, but again, it's a category that is, I'd say, underrepresented, specifically in North America. And even the X, which you guys will be trying later, a lot of rice shochus leaving Japan are actually labeled as rice whiskey. And because that's something that you can actually, well, they have been able to use on the labels. I don't know if that's changing, which I've heard rumblings about. But we really, with MUJEN, wanted to showcase the versatility of shochu. Again, we have 3 styles. We have the AI, which is our traditional style between 23 to 25%, that beautiful Hino Hirikari rice showing through. And then, of course, the 35%, which was created for cocktailing. We love our mixologists and the people who have joined us in this amazing journey. And so creating something for that cocktail culture has been a lot of fun, and seeing the versatility, seeing it in espresso martinis, Bloody Marys, versions of margaritas, and then unique cocktails such as one of our good partners, Scarf Spar. They did lemon verbena and dragon fruit. And then, of course, the X showing aged shochu, which is that whiskey kind of
barrel aged.
Yeah, it's 10 years Canadian white oak. And so it has this beautiful toast to it. It's such a soft palate as well, even though it's a higher proof at 42%. But we just wanted to show that shochu as a category, and people should be dabbling and getting interested in it.
Absolutely. And I think that's you sort of nailed it, just because, I mean, I can only think of one American company that does rice whiskey that like is even relatively known, and that's JT Malik.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only one I know.
And that's the thing, like, that's the only one that like I can name off the top. I'm sure there is probably other people doing it, but it is underrepresented. I've tried their stuff. I'm one of those people that likes to try something. Like when I hear something's weird, I'm like, I've got to try it. Just because like to be fair, I got bored of bourbon a long time ago. And like now it's just trying to find the interesting stuff, right? You always get your staples, but I love when I come across stuff like this because it's different. It's a different approach, but I think there's still enough familiarity there that people who are whiskey fans should try things like this to like really open up your palate a little bit because it's so unique and different. So I agree, it's an underrepresented category for sure.
Absolutely. And even like the history, like the 120 years old, single pot distillation, vacuum fermentation, like it's the utmost care, the highest quality ingredients from the Kuma region. So the water and the rice is all sourced from the Kuma region. We're one of 17 distilleries that's allowed to source from there in Japan. So it's a very, very small collective producing really high-end rice shochu from that region. And we're so excited to represent it on a global scale now.
Yeah. No, and we've got a lot more nerdier questions to ask. We'll get into that for sure. We get really nerdy, especially when it comes to something that has a slightly different distillation process like this would. And I've got my own questions that I want to ask, but I think the next one that we have, where does the name come from?
Well, shochu is their national drink, and shochu is what you when someone comes over to your house, you offer shochu. I mean, it's all about connection, and and they also actually call shochu the elixir of longevity because it is. I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but it is kind of healthy for you. I mean, healthy-ish to drink, and there are all these health benefits that I don't want to, I don't want to get into just for legal reasons, but I mean, but in Japan, I don't want to be sued, but in Japan, doctors
you can tell us later. You can tell us later.
I'll tell you when we're not on air.
Off the record.
Okay. All right.
Definitely. And but it's elevated. So we wanted something that was big, and just coming up with names and I think the ninth word that I was typing in, wanting to see what the Japanese translation was, I typed in infinite, and up came MUJEN. But actually, it was with a G first.
Okay.
So, but we shifted it to a J because they were pronouncing it Mugen, and I didn't like that. But so the origination is the idea of infinite, which I loved, and the logo actually is an Enso sign, which is a one round brush stroke, and it's actually one of the oldest symbols in Japanese, and that's the calligraphy word or symbol for the word infinite. So it just organically became that, and we wanted something really simple and beautiful, and that's how we created the logo and the bottle designs.
I do.
Yeah, the bottle is
they're
gorgeous.
very nice.
And I love that. I would have never. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say this, but I didn't even think about that being a Japanese symbol. So that's very cool that's what that is too.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest symbols.
And I'm a sucker for cool corks. And cool cork toppers.
Cool.
It's like literally.
It has weight.
It's got weight. You could throw to your enemies.
It's a weapon.
Yeah, you can 100% hurt someone with this. But no, it's just really beautiful, and again, I'm one of those people. We've mentioned this like multiple times on this podcast, but like I feel like at this point with like people who, well, if you have your own whiskey podcast, you probably like whiskey enough. So I'm one of those people that when I walk into like a bar, and by the time I've sat down, even if it's only a few seconds, someone turns to me, they're like, "So you already know what you're getting, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I've scanned the entire shelf and I know what bottle shapes look like. And this is one of those that where if I saw it, I'd be like, "Whoa, hold on.
What is that?"
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not familiar with that bottle shape or that bottle topper right there, so I want to know about that. So I think that's such a cool thing. You guys have a fantastic bottle, and obviously the spirit has to hold up, right? But that is such like a thing that I think a lot of times people miss. Is really great bottle design, and you guys nailed it. So.
Well, it's all part of the experience, isn't it? I mean, you see it, you taste it. I mean, exactly what is in the bottle has to be superior,
Yeah.
and we think what's inside is just as beautiful than
Mhm.
what's on the outside. So we're proud of it all.
And especially for like a new category such as shochu, when we are going against the vodka, gin, tequila, bourbon, everything,
Yeah.
it is something that Sondra thought out beautifully, was to pull people in and have people asking on the shelf, what is that? Because again, shochu bottles have been so versatile and there's been so many varieties and styles. And so having something that's so identifiable as a spirit was brilliant on Sondra's part.
Absolutely. I love it.
Thanks, Caylee.
So, and also just sorry. So obviously we talked about shochu, which is really cool. I love that you guys have that kind of connection with them. But again, we are a bourbon podcast, and myself and Brian are probably the nerdier people on the podcast. Adrian's learning so much, and it's really awesome that like
I'm the novice, certainly of the group.
You're not a novice.
I had to look up shochu and learn how to pronounce it and all the things, right? And a lot of people know about sake as a Japanese beverage, and I'm thinking not to insult your spirit in any way, but maybe for people like myself. And I mean, to be fair, you mentioned that the Western world has not really experienced shochu. So if maybe you can talk a little bit more about, what makes shochu what it is. Is that, I mean,
of course. And
question.
like when you're kind of looking at like the Japanese category, so sake, again, fermented, it's the wine of Japan, the rice wine of Japan. We are fermented and then distilled. And so we're kind of like the spirit version of the rice category for alcoholic beverages. So it's that fermentation. So there is a process where shochu has something called white koji in it. Could be a variety of kojis, but we use white specifically. So koji is a type of mold that basically when fermented with it, it develops those beautiful flavors as you get in sakis. And then of course we distill it in a vacuum at a very low temperature to really retain all of those flavors. And that's what I'd say MUJEN and Sengetsu, the distillery, has really they've perfected the shochu making process into really retaining the highest quality flavors for us. And so that would be the kind of experience between sake and shochu.
Now, the most interesting thing that I saw when I was kind of researching is there are other types of grains used, or even I saw sweet potatoes can be used, or I can't remember what else I saw, but different things.
Barley or sugar.
Yeah. I thought that was very interesting that there was.
And they all produce very different flavors. And so rice versus sweet potato versus barley versus sugar. Again, sugar, you're going to get that sweetness. Barley, you get kind of that savory note. Sweet potato, you kind of get this a little bit of funk in there. And then rice is very elegant and floral and adds some citrus, and it's quite beautiful. So they're all very stylistically different. And then, of course, even with the different types of koji, there's black koji, yellow koji, and white koji, and all have different flavor profiles that they'll actually add to the shochu.
Wow.
If you guys haven't noticed, for most of this time, I've been nosing.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tasted yet?
Well, I had before this. Like when I got when I get stuff, I immediately.
Martin always dips right in when we get the bottle. I have not tried it yet.
I don't have that thing that the modern world calls restraint. So when it comes to whiskey, because if I see something new and it's a new bottle I haven't tried, I'm like, oh my god, I need it now. I need to try this. I do get FOMO quite often for certain things. So I did already get to try this, but I have been, as like, for me, like the greatest experience is like I have received these bottles. I've made my own things about it, but I haven't talked to you guys yet. Then when I talk to the guests and I hear everything behind it, then I want to try it again, because I feel like you said, that just like the bottle and the spirit adds to it, like the history, the passion, you guys talking about it, that adds to my enjoyment of it. So like
there's a connection piece there. Yeah.
Like, I wanted to try it in the moment. So that's why you guys have seen me
Totally.
kind of like nosing it as we've been going, and as you've been describing it, like me being like, oh, okay, yeah, I do see that. So yeah, I've been
That's
kind of
great.
in the background doing that. I would say that.
So go ahead. I was just gonna say. So when are you getting? I'm curious.
I do, but like before we get to that we'll definitely get to the kind of our notes, and then if you and what your notes are too. But I think for the most part, our listeners would be relatively familiar with the distillation process for whiskey. Let's just say whiskey is a blanket statement. Can you guys talk a little bit about the difference in the process for when you're making a rice spirit like this?
Yeah, so the biggest difference I'd say between making a whiskey and a shochu is we do have that fermentation at the beginning. And so with the rice, the water, the prime materials of shochu, it's used to basically create it's called moromi, and it's a rice mash. And so that's where the fermentation kind of happens with the with the white koji. And so that's what brings out those really unique flavor profiles that really, I'd say, even like when you drink a sake, you do get those beautiful notes. And that's the koji coming out as well as the rice. And then after the fermentation is done, we do single pot distillation, and it's all done in a very, Sondra, I forget the name of the room, but it's done in these beautiful rooms that are dedicated to the Kuma shochu.
Right. And they have, they're at a specific temperature, and that is the room designated specifically for that. And it's very controlled.
And with the vacuum distillation, particularly, again, atmospheric distillation versus vacuum distillation, atmospheric is a very high temperature, so you do lose a little bit of flavor along the way. In vacuum distillation, it's a very, very low temperature, and that's where we're able to create the softness on the palate that you guys will get at all levels, 42%, 35%, and the 23%, but you'll also retain so much flavor profile.
So it's almost like and when it comes to like single malt distillation, obviously it's almost like the malting and fermentation steps switch place. Yeah. That's kind of that's super interesting too. Because again, I'm pretty familiar with bourbon and single malt and different mash bills, but I was that's interesting that happens first. That's really cool.
And the one thing with the X that you're drinking, which I'll be quite a cheerleader for, is it's made with Canadian white oak.
Yep.
So Canadian white oak from Quebec, Canada, very tight grain oak. It's all new oak as well. They'll reuse the barrels a few times for the X. But with the tighter grain, the air to liquid ratio is a very, very slow process. And that's where you get those very delicate nuances. And so it really leans into that, I'd say, softer power, not overpowering oak, but just very well integrated.
It is, yeah.
And they're lightly toasted too, so it's not full on charred.
That's good, yeah. And you can see it. And I think that's like the interesting thing for me coming from, again, I've tried other rice whiskey in the past, but typically it wasn't barrel aged. The few that I tried, I actually only tried one thing from JT Malik, and I can't really remember what it was, if I'm being honest. But this one, you can get all the notes that you would get from something barrel aged. But then there's there's this like insane creaminess behind it. I'm not going to get too far into my notes because I know I'm starting to do that. But like, I think was there any specific decisions around why you used a Canadian white oak specifically?
The distillery's been using Canadian white oak for a number of years. I believe it's close to 70 years now.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Got it.
And so they have been a long time preference to Canadian oak. We do make. I'm in Canada right now, so we do make some very nice. We have a lot of lumber and trees up here.
Yeah,
so it's,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I was curious. Oh yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like it's I love when there's different types. I mean, especially now that we have American single malt is a ratified category in whiskey. I've seen and they have the option to either use new or used oak. And I've been interested seeing the different new oaks that they've been choosing for that. So this is interesting too. also too, because most Japanese whiskey, or a lot of Japanese whiskey, at least back when, you know, in World War II, they were using Mizunara a lot because that was a local oak for them. And now you see whiskey brands doing that. So I was curious, like, I wonder if they ever explored with that. Have you guys ever thought about that? Or is it like we're sticking with the Canadian white oak?
It's the Canadian white oak. It's the style, it's the texture. It leans into everything that they get in the bottle. So I don't foresee them changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I was just curious, just because like I'm all about like different barrels and like trying like what can change something, especially on the barrel side and the aging side of things, maturation. And I would kind of just be interested to see this with like different oaks, and I'm like I said, I'm a nerd.
Absolutely.
So I just want to see like what the difference is, because I think it's so cool right now, and like I'm like, oh, I wonder if it did this. Oh, what if we did that? Like that's how I get. So no, I think it's great. That's really cool, and thank you for explaining that process. Again, I would imagine most of our listeners are not familiar with that process.
Right.
And yeah,
Myself
I would
included.
imagine. No. It's, you know, I mean, the thing is, it's not dramatically different, but obviously there's a few steps there that are going to be a little bit different considering the grain.
Absolutely.
So I guess let's get into the product a little bit. I do love that you did mention, because actually I didn't know that until you said it, that it's sugar-free, gluten-free, and it's low calorie and carb-free. So
zero additives. So it's only 3 simple ingredients. Well, not so simple, but very high quality ingredients. It's Hinohirikari rice, water, and then white koji. That's it. No additives, which really leans into that clean. I'd say going back to, like, I've again haven't done this for a while. It's people are looking for additive free now, especially in traditional spirits and quality, and really going into the ageability and the depth of the spirits as well. So we have nothing, we can't hide anything. We're only 3 ingredients.
And I've actually tested their claims to, you know, less hangover, and it's true. I look at a glass of wine, I get a hangover. And you know, when I drink this, I mean, I really can't drink anything else, because you feel that much better, and it's a great buzz. So that
it's replaced my gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you guys I mean, just in general, you guys more cocktail drinker or neat drinker? Do you got, like, if you're ordering something, is it more neat, or do you typically go for cocktails?
Depending on that day.
Yeah. You know, the
AI
are the light green label. That's the lower ABV. That I'll do chilled, but that's my martini. But super, super clean, chilled. It's in the most pure form. The bright blue one we call the original. That's the one for cocktails. And I'm more of a cocktail person. And that's, you know, that was what was so surprising about this rice shochu, is that it's so beautiful in cocktails. I mean, it really is. It's so smooth, it's seamless. And you know, that's one of the things that we were so excited about for people to try when they try it.
Yeah.
And even with mixologists or different restaurants who have never had it, we always have them taste it neat first. Then we'll add a rock to it, because it opens up. It's such a different experience. And then we'll have them make a cocktail with each one, and we tell them which cocktail to make. And then they try it. They're like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
And then the cocktails are gone.
and then the cocktails are gone, and then they're like, all right, let's do it.
I made a margarita tonight, and what I loved about it is it's not like some cocktails are very spirit forward, and I don't get this. It's not killing the cocktail with the spirit forwardness.
Super smooth.
It just very seamless within the cocktail that I chose to make, which is, as I mentioned, was the margarita. But I would say this would be a very good. Go ahead.
Did you make it with the X or with the original? Which one? Did you?
I made it with the original. I used the original. Yeah, and I used just lime juice and Grand Marnier in there.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. So, it's perfect. That's all you need. Done.
Yeah, it was very nice. I had a little lime garnish, and we actually I don't know if you ever heard of Glasman, but this is a brand that we actually did a recording with also. But wonderful glassware. It's a
That's
thinner
gorgeous.
glass,
Yeah.
but very
It looks
sturdy.
really
And
thin.
you would think it feels very dainty, but it's actually a very sturdy glass. You have to check them out. It was perfect for this. Absolutely perfect for this. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, I have a lot of people in my life as a woman. I don't know, maybe you guys can relate that drinking whiskey and being into that. A lot of women don't like spirit forward things. Like they don't want to taste the alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And I felt like, for the original and the light, like you mentioned, being cocktail, for cocktails specifically, I think that would be really good for, individuals who want to taste the cocktail and not just the spirit. So, I mean, I think obviously you could add more and not to take away from the spirit, but I think it was great in the cocktail.
It's really smooth. You know what it is? Every single time a person will try it for the first time, they're shocked how smooth it is. Like I couldn't do that with vodka. I mean, I can't do it straight or chilled. Like that's just not fun for me.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And even,
and I drink whiskey, so.
and I'm not knocking vodka. I was just using it as an example, just in a different spirit. But even the X, which is higher than the other two, that's still smooth. I find it smoother than a lot of whiskeys that I sometimes have had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. You have to. I mean, I was just as I was drinking this, I'm just like, and I'm not. I am admittingly not a big cocktail person. It takes a lot for me to order a cocktail.
You're a purist.
I know. And my dad, my parents are from Scotland, born and raised, and so obviously I was raised around whiskey. And when I first started really getting into it and and then when my dad realized I was getting into it, he goes, "Are you going to be a purist or you?" Well, he used other words, but he said, a lot more cursing that you could sort of understand through the Scottish accent. But he just said, "Are you going to be a stuck up something or other purist, or are you going to try other cocktails now with it?" Because he drinks it neat as well, but he's also very much into old fashions, Rob Roy's, things like that. And this I could see being very good in an old fashioned, and I really so my brother-in-law
it's a
makes
great
a
old
fantastic
fashioned.
one. Yeah,
I should have used this in the margarita. I should have.
You can.
Yeah. I should have. I'll have to do that when we finish here.
And I think something like this is so. I mean, and that's what I love about a spirit like this, and because I think there are genuinely some whiskeys that are just terrible in cocktails. They just don't work. They are totally 100% meant to be neat. That's how the distiller meant it to be. There's specific flavor profiles, but when you have something that is both of that, like we're like, oh, I can take this neat and find all the different flavor profiles, but if I wanted to, I could stick it in something as well and still enhance that cocktail. And I think that's hard as hell to do. And I think you guys really found a really good balance for that.
Yeah, and the people, like even with the AI and original and X, but like we've become also a favorite among some sushi restaurants. And
I bet, yeah.
And again, while we're tackling this beautiful world of cocktails, we still have the support from, I'd say, like the traditionalists. And so people will pour AI like neat with a lot of sushi and seafood dishes as well. We have some martinis along with shellfish towers and all that. So It's a very food complementary as well.
What's some of your guys' favorite dishes to have something like this with?
Oh, like for me,
like God,
and like a brewery like Torch Sushi, like the Torch Nigiri is amazing. But even like seafood, oysters, like I've made mignonettes with some of the AI and original before, and it just brings such like a cleanness in the mignonette on the oysters. And so it's a lot of fun to play around with.
I feel like it would definitely, but even with like the saltiness of like things, that I feel like it plays so well with that.
Absolutely.
The brininess of it. Yeah. But even, I was just about to say, I love it with a steak. I mean, I love steak. I like a lot of red meat. Oh, it's good. It's really good.
And which one of these was that steak?
Probably my AI martini I'll do with a steak. Just because I like a martini with a steak. I don't know. Or I'll do the X on a rock with an orange peel. Just simple.
Something
Oh.
simple. Yeah.
Which is really great. Yeah.
You know what I think I want to try this with? And so there was a I forgot where we were. I don't remember if Adrian, you might have been there. Adrian and myself, we have a big friend group within this whiskey community, and we do a lot of trips together. We go to distilleries and hang out and have big summer trips, and it's
Sounds
but
like a
like
great friend group.
I love these. I love these people more. Like these are people like I met later in life through the whiskey thing, and it's like I can't even. It's kind of mind blowing, like what we found through this community. And I genuinely love it. But one thing I did on one of our last trips is we were doing a whiskey flight, but then we were having ice cream. So then I took the whiskey and put it on top of the ice cream because I always like to taste like different flavors like that. Especially
definitely not there for that.
No, I was gonna say I don't think you were there for that one.
I was not. I missed that one. I was not. I would have remembered that.
It came very late in the day. We may or may not have been drinking a lot at that point. So, but like I think this would be fantastic with like ice cream or like something that like my thing like lately has been trying to find ways to like integrate whiskey into like cooking and baking and things like that. And I think this would be interesting to try with something like that. And I think I'm going to do it at some point. Just to see the complement of flavors. Yeah.
I kind of want to hear your notes.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, and actually,
I always want to hear
like what I'm getting. So, I mean, and the reason, actually, one of the reasons why I even thought about that was because the main one, first and foremost, now obviously this is probably coming more from the oak, is the vanilla influence that I'm getting. It's a ton of vanilla, but it's not like, it's not like your traditional, like if I'm just like in a, vanilla ice cream like that. It's more like a vanilla extract. So it's very just kind of like more thick on the palate. What I'm trying to do is get behind what I know already, which means I'm trying to get behind the barrel influence, and I want to know like what the the rice spirit is doing, and what I get from that is this awesome, like it's almost like this awesome like musty like wood thing, and then I don't mean from the oak influence. I always hate when people say that for like tasting notes. So like, oh, I get oak. I'm like from something that was aged in oak.
Yeah, huh? I get oak.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're just like, oh, I'm getting like a sweet. They're like, I'm getting like a sweet corn note. I'm like, oh, on a bourbon, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, but no, this is something. It's like a dusty, like it's like a dusty grain note. And I don't know how I don't know a specific thing, but it's so good. I love notes like this because this is 10 year, right? This is a 10 year. So you can taste that. And I love when you can taste that. Just like when people say, oh, I can taste a youthful spirit. They taste the grain too much. This flips the opposite way for me and almost gets to where it's like this mature grain note. And I just really love it. So it's just like that. There's a little bit of mint, a little bit of not kiwi, a cucumber, for sure. It's like because whenever I do that, to me, like I use cucumber when I can't think of what a crisp vegetable note would be. And just because it's just like you kind of get that, it's just that kind of light, almost bordering on lime and lemon and stuff like that, where it's like so sweet.
It definitely got more citrus on the palate, but like not bright citrus, but like almost like if you were to age an orange, if you were to let an orange hang out for a little bit, and that's kind of it. But on the nose, it was super buttery, super like buttery potato on the nose for sure. It's really nice.
That's a great note.
Really nice.
Buttery is it. It does. It almost has like this like.
It is.
You can taste it now. It's so cool.
It doesn't taste buttery. It's very buttery on the nose, and like I don't know if you can smell like soft and creamy, but you very much get that vibe when you're smelling it, and then when you taste it, like I said, I very much get like an aged orangey flavor, but it's very good. It kind of I always kind of have this judgment, like I don't want to call it judgment, but like I always base it on how it makes my tongue feel, right? And it does have that. It kind of gives me a little bit of that single malt type of tongue feeling. It's the only way I can really explain it, because I get a different sensation when I drink single malts as opposed to when I'm drinking, say, a bourbon or a rye. It just hits different on the tongue. And you can tell that that's a little bit more in the frame of what this is. It's very good though. It's very, like, I love how you said it was smooth. I need to try the AI here without.
Yeah,
I want to have it tried.
we have some good friends that like their quotes is like AI is like water. We've been very light as perfume, so people have become a big fan.
So they'll drink it neat.
Devil
drink
water.
They will. We've seen people take down full bottles of the AI pretty quick.
I thought only tequila could do that.
All right, I was gonna say, Adrian, we got a long Monday night ahead of us. But
oh wow,
yeah.
Call us tomorrow and tell us how you're feeling. You'll be surprised.
I'm gonna send you guys a video after this, and you guys will have a laugh.
Oh yeah, I want to see this. Because I think that's
really nice.
Because you can, to me, like even like just final notes on it. Like there is like still like the distillation notes that like I look for because I'm weird and nerdy. But like the acetone notes that I get from like whiskey, like you can kind of get that, like it's still there, and I love that. I love finding that. I love to know that, like I love to know something was made. And I know that sounds really weird because sometimes you'll have people like, oh, it tastes like whiskey. I'm like, well, yeah. Like someone labored over this for a long time to have it taste like that. And it's just like someone was so specific on the way they wanted you to experience this, and you're diluting it and doing all these things to it. But like I like tasting where things come from, and I think this is like, and that's the thing, and that's why I mentioned earlier, you're adding the story behind it. Boom, we got like the whole history, so now I'm tasting that history, and I think that's such a big thing for the experience of drinking spirit, that people sometimes don't always pay attention to. So appreciate. So like I like being able to taste that. Like I like that. Like I like to think sometimes, like whenever someone tells me they use a different water source, I'm like, ooh, I can taste it. I probably can't. But like. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really actually tasting it, but like I want to believe that the certain water source
that you can.
That it changed something about it. You know what I mean? Like, and it did.
It brings you to a sense of place. Like that's what it does. It brings you to a sense of place. Like you're in southern Japan, you're in this beautiful terroir. And that's the one thing I'll say about. I come from a wine background, so say like with shochu and MUJEN, it really, really brings you to a sense of place when you drink it. Yeah, and a great book by the great Dave Broom. It's called The Sense of Place. And he's a whiskey. He's kind of like a whiskey journal, a whiskey writer and photographer. And he literally put out a thing called Sense of Place, all about terroir in Scotland and things like that. So I'm actually curious that you brought up terroir. The terroir is a word that Adrian.
So funny story. when we first start doing this podcast, I was very new to a lot of things as when it comes to whiskey. So we were interviewing these gentlemen that did some rum, and they were talking about their whiskey experience that they had in France. And they brought up the word terroir, and of course, I had no idea what it meant. And it became this huge joke, and now they always say it. It's like my favorite word. It's really not my favorite word, but so every time someone brings it up, everybody laughs. So anyway, but
it's kind of I think within outside of wine, like I think the use of it can be controversial because of what it should mean. Versus what people try to apply it to. They try to apply the fact that it tastes like a certain region. That's not what terroir is. It kind of is, but like it's more than just that. And I think there's a lot of people who will be like, oh well, a certain Scotch in the Highlands. I'm like, well, yeah, but they didn't get their barrels from the Highlands. They didn't get their, they didn't get the grain from. They got the grain from Canada or Australia or whatever they're getting their grain from, or their whatever it happens to be, and that would make it. That's not terroir. So it is definitely so. Like, I'm curious, like how you as someone with that kind of background, like how you view it, like being used like that.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of everything that it's like. I know that the barrels for X come from Canada, but when you look at the grains, the water, if that watershed changes, if the way that the sun exposure, anything like that, is affecting how the rice grows, there will be variance in the weight of the product, the weight of the grain, and so that's one thing that I'll say for me is what terroir is about, is like what makes the grain what makes the region special. Like you go to Burgundy, and Burgundy's Burgundy for a reason.
Sure. Yeah.
The clay,
Cognac.
the soils, it's something that's specific to that certain point of the world, and there's nowhere like the Kuma region anywhere else in the world.
Exactly. And I think that is like why it's such a good definition of that. That's awesome. Well, now oh, go ahead.
You really can tell the difference though with the combination of the highest grain, the highest quality of that particular type of eating rice, and the water and the white koji, when a lot of the shochu out there is made with yellow or black. I mean, just the combination
little things, yeah,
really yields such a beautiful, delicate taste, and that's what we love.
We've had people come up to us, and they've, like, again, for me, I think there's amazing sweet potatoes, amazing barley, but we've had people come up and they're like, oh, I don't like shochu, and it's because they didn't like sweet potato. And we're like, oh, you got to try MUJEN. Then they fall in love with it. And they're like, why haven't I been drinking rice? And so it's even just understanding the difference.
Totally different ball game.
Yeah.
I mean, just the region, and the ingredient.
Yeah.
It doesn't even taste like the same alcohol, actually.
Now I want someone to, I'm trying to think of distillers that I know that would add in rice to their mash bill just to see what it does.
Well, and one thing I think is really, you mentioned that somebody had tried a sweet potato shochu versus the rice. I think it's pretty cool when you think about it, globally, how we do so many different things with bourbons and rye and single malts. And there's a whole nother space in another part of the world where they're doing another type of spirit, where there's so many different ways that you can change it up. There's different kojis that you can use. There's different grains that you can use. To me, that's pretty exciting that there's a whole nother branch off of the spirit industry where people can add in all these different things. Because you could do different oaks. The possibilities literally are pretty endless in that world too. So I think that's and
it's been
special.
around for 500 years. And so we're just trying to educate people and pull people in and help. We're on a mission. So we're excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever, I mean, I don't want to call it pressure, but like to do something unique and different outside of like what like the spirits industry is doing, especially, and the reason obviously we're a bourbon and whiskey centric podcast, but like, is there any like pressure to avoid the trends that like certain spirits industries are doing to separate yourself from that, or is it just like you maybe want to explore some of like the trends like finishing barrels and introducing something that's more like a more traditional type of spirit, or do you guys want to definitely stick with the path you're going?
I mean, I don't know if I'm understanding the question, but I think we're just excited about showcasing this spirit that we've sort of feel like we've discovered, and Adrienne, you've been in the industry and you've never heard of shochu. I mean, it's kind of amazing. My partner, Bruce, he was in the restaurant and hospitality for 30 years and had never heard of shochu. So it's kind of amazing. I mean, I think it's just it's the discovery that we're excited about bringing.
Yeah.
And I think that stands on its own. I mean, I don't really think about any kind of pressure. I don't know. There's always room for something new.
And it's always that aha moment when you see people who taste it and they're like, this is incredibly good. Why haven't I been drinking this before?
Yeah.
Well, all I can think is I want some ice, obviously. And then I would take just get some frozen berries to mix in with my ice, like maybe raspberries or strawberries, and then maybe top it with a little bit of club soda. I'm thinking, to me, that seems so refreshing, so easy.
I was like, I think that bottle of AI is going to be gone tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think I have some. I don't have any club soda though. I was going to get some at the store. I should have, but yeah, I could probably even just use some lime juice really to kind of offset it. But I don't know. This is really
just send your son your son out, Samson. He'll go get it for you and
send him to the store.
hey kid, I'm recording a podcast right now. So
I need some ice.
I need some ice for God's sake. No, but Sondra, actually, you kind of did answer that. Like, sorry if I phrased that differently, but no, I think you did answer that question exactly correct. It's just like it's carving your own path into it, right? It's like continue to do what you guys find exciting, and I think that's more or less what I meant. It's like I feel like right now with like the whiskey industry, there's such a pressure to do what's popular right now. Everybody's trying to finish their stuff in the most wild different wine casks and things like that, and people are trying to do all these different things within that, and I find it so admirable when I see someone that's like, no, this is what we're doing and we're going to continue doing this. I don't care like what other people are doing. Like we feel passionate about this product that we have and introducing people to something they've never experienced before, rather than being like, oh well, no, it's not. Maybe they're not latching onto this. Maybe I should do something that everybody else is doing. And I love when people say no to that.
Like, you want to know something? It never even occurred to us. I mean, it never even occurred to me.
Good.
Like, yeah, we're just.
I think some of the best brands do that.
Really lucky.
Yeah, I think you guys. Well, I think you guys have a vision, and I think that's when it sometimes doesn't. Like you can tell when companies don't have visions. I've been part of enough, and then you're like, oh, they're just pushing stuff out. And that makes the difference to me. Like that really does, and I think that makes a difference to everybody that is exploring spirits beyond like just drinking and like trying to understand like where these things come from. And I think that's what makes things appealing is when I see somebody putting stuff out and they're like standing by it, like this is what we do. I don't care what other people do.
Absolutely.
Let's just do
and
this.
when you look at cocktail menus, you have the traditional vodka, gin, tequila, mezcal now, which has come around the last 10, 15 years.
Huge,
and
right?
We want people to see that shochu is a serious spirit and it should be on every cocktail list.
I was just going to say, I love
it will be on every.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adrian. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say, I absolutely love the cocktail piece. When I started doing my research about you guys and looking at your website, there are an abundance of cocktail recipes on there that I want to try.
Great
I mean, you'll
have to try.
I like making cocktails.
You know what you have to try? You have to try MUJEN 8. So this is kind of ripping through Paris at the moment, and it's my favorite one now. And it's so simple, and that's usually the best cocktails with this. Just keeping it simple, but it's literally just yuzu, a little bit of agave, MUJEN original, spicy bitters on the rocks. Done. It's so good.
That sounds nice.
It's like a yuzu margarita, but clean, spicy or not.
Hey, Sondra, Caylee, do you see Adrian's face right now? She's Googling.
Writing it down. She's like,
I'm writing it down.
Adrian, I literally can send it to you.
You saw that, right?
Spicy bitter.
I know. I'm thinking. I don't even know. I don't know if I know what yuzu is, but I'm gonna know after this is over.
Well,
yuzu. It's a Japanese citrus, so it's like fruit and I don't know. It's like a Japanese orange
fruit
well, but it's like a little more lemony. It's you will recognize it when you taste it. It's so it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, by the way, more compliments for you guys. Website, that's a good website, number one.
Thank you.
I spent a lot of time on there.
You know what? Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like sometimes like people like again don't see the full package for companies and things like that, and like the work that goes into things like that is insane. And having a user experience, like an end user experience, like I have with websites, and like literally anybody that we are interviewing, I'm going to their website and I'm looking, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, their website sucks, but I like their whiskey a lot. But like it's for me, like it adds another level. Like it's easy for me to find information. I can go there, I can find your story, I can find the spirits, I know where to find them. But just in general, and I love that you guys do like the cocktails under each one, because I saw the one for this one, the ex old fashioned and the lieutenant and the lucky cat. And I'm not gonna make them, because if I do, it won't taste right. But I'm gonna have someone else make them for me.
Next meetup, I'll make some cocktails.
I'll have her. She's amazing, and my brother-in-law is really great too. So I'm gonna have him make me some of those too. But we have Adrian arrived at the stupidest question that we have, and so we get nerdy. We like to talk about things on this podcast. It is called Bourbon with Friends, and we hope that by the end of our podcast, you guys feel like friends. And this question will bring you closer to that. So when we first, we were not the original hosts of Bourbon with Friends. We actually inherited this podcast, for those who didn't know that. And when we took over it, we had a creative meeting. Our first thing, like, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, who do we talk to? Like we've never had a podcast before. I'm like a fan of podcasts, but like I've never done one. So then like we're sitting there like coming up with stuff, and outside the door, Adrian heard a knock on her door. And she opens the door, she's looking around, nobody. She looks down, squirrel sitting there, knocking on her door.
No.
It was selling insurance. And it was selling Aetna insurance, and it was none of this is true.
This is not a true story.
I was like, how much bourbon did you drink to get to this point?
Oh my God. I was going there with you, Martin.
Yeah, I know. I was selling it. So basically, I make up a story every single episode.
It's great.
There actually is an origin story to this question about squirrels, but we don't remember what it is at this point. So I just make up new and different stories. Like I think the last one, a squirrel carjacked Adrian. So it's all different. So what we do,
it's great.
We ask a squirrel related goofy question just to kind of split things up a little bit, since obviously we're talking about things. So you guys have this question.
It's fun. It's really fun.
So,
all right.
This is for both of you guys, or you can have a joint answer, whichever you guys want to do. So, if a squirrel was to use a specific grain to make a spirit with, would it have to be of the nut variety, or would it be something else?
Oh.
I don't know if you guys know squirrels personally or not.
They do like their acorns, do they not?
They do.
Yeah. I think it's for me. I think it would be a acorn nut variety. Yeah.
Okay. You were going to acorn.
I was like, are you trying to get her to say acorn? As like a corn.
No. No, I mean, that's actually pretty good.
That's really good.
I wasn't even thinking of that. Actually, you know what, Caylee? That's exactly what I was
clever, Caylee.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Hey, that's my answer.
No, that's pretty good. Okay, so we got acorn, and the thing is, I would imagine it would not betray its squirrel roots and do something different. It would 100% probably go with that, but you never know. Yeah, we've had all sorts of questions like how would a squirrel run a distillery? If there was a squirrel-sized human versus a human-sized squirrle, all sorts of questions we've had.
Throw the human-sized piece in there.
Yeah.
We always get good answers. It's fun. It's fun.
Hey, that's
we enjoy it.
It splits things up a little bit.
Yeah. So we do have another question that I think when we're all here, we all love to ask this question, and so we're going to ask it anyway. It's basically around your favorite whiskey memory, and we want to hear from both of you. So do you have a memory, and it could be from childhood, being around adults that are having spirits. It could be your own it could be something that you were involved in. Any favorite spirit related memories we love to hear.
And drinking favorite.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
we are 100%
we
asking your favorite drinking
them.
memory. Yeah.
Yes. We just like to make it sound nicer like that.
Well, if you guys drink MUJEN, you won't get a hangover, and it's sugar free and everything, so you won't have a hangover.
That's right. That's right.
I've got 2 glasses. Check me out.
Oh, Adrian, Jesus Christ, we have to edit this after this.
I mean, I
Sorry.
guess for me, it would be probably a karaoke moment in Japan, in southern
Ooh.
Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, we all got up and sang.
Mhm.
And we were taken by one of the president of the distillery, and
Okay.
and we were there till about 5 a.m, and that was pretty great. I mean, I remember sitting there going, God, I have a really incredible life. I mean, if this is my work, I'm lucky.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sondra, I am not going to let you answer that question and not ask what did you sing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I sang an ABBA song because I didn't know. I mean, yeah, it was not ABBA.
Heck
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
I was literally just talking about ABBA the other day with my mom.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I was just like, because like I always remember like this is such a random story. My mom had this thing like when I was a kid and I used to get in trouble. I used to get in trouble every once in a while. And she would always send me out into the sunroom. She goes, go to the sunroom, and she'd always, my mom's 5 foot, I'm 5'11", so she'd always be yelling up. And Mom, I know you're listening to this podcast, and you know you did this, so don't try to question it. But whenever I would walk in that room, ABBA would be playing, so I'd be terrified. Like so. So now anytime I hear ABBA, I'm like, oh, I'm about to get in trouble. My mom's gonna yell at me. Like it's this whole thing. It's trauma, and I'm working through it, and I'll make it through. But thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if I can help you process that in a more positive way, I'll bring it. We'll bring it.
I love karaoke. Karaoke is so fun.
We'll listen to Dancing Queen and we'll be fine.
Yeah. Right. I have already got it in my head.
All right, Caylee, what about you? What are you thinking?
I'm going to take the cheesy route here. And so Sondra and I, we did our first market work with where we actually first, like we'd met on screen a million times.
Yeah.
And then we met in London for the first time when we were launching in London. We had no accounts in London, and her and I were carrying backpacks and bottles and literally schlepping across London. And like that day, I think we met with Tasso Giovannoni, who's like Roku Icon Award in the spirits world. We got listed with his restaurants. We met with Scarfs Bar, and we're just like sitting there being like, oh my God. And so
we did. Like, we kind of had that moment. You're right.
Instant love for this woman.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'll end with AI with Sondra.
Those are the memories we love hearing.
AI means love in Japan, which when Sondra was karaokeing, heard a bunch of lovely young ladies screaming at this handsome gentleman, and that's where AI came.
It's true. AI. Oh, Caylee, I love
Is that really? It really means love.
Yeah. It means love. AI means.
You don't
love.
know what that means to me. Oh, I love that.
Oh, dude, you guys.
When I found that out, I literally was like, I'm going to name one of the bottles AI.
Oh,
and we did.
No, it's because I got to be honest. I was trying to figure. I'm like, what's AI about this? Is it going to change on me or like?
I know, right?
I wanted to ask the association with that nowadays. It's just like, do I have to do a prompt with this? But yeah,
I'm glad that the meaning came out in that story.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, and
so cool.
Yeah,
and I love you, Caylee.
Yeah,
I love it.
Hey, lots of love.
That was a
very lucky to be part of a great team.
Caylee, great move, by the way.
That
was very good. That was very smart. That was very smart.
The distillery, they make my life very easy.
You know what I mean? Very good. So really, guys, again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Anything you guys have that is obviously we're currently drinking the X. That's the one that we're drinking. That is the 10-year barrel. And then we've got the AI, and then we've got the original. Anything new coming out that you guys can talk about, obviously.
I have one question for you guys.
Oh, okay. Cool.
how we kind of came to be was through our lovely Toshi, who's part of the business. Because you encountered MUJEN in Colorado, what was your first impression when you saw the bottles and or tasted it?
So actually, both myself and Brian, our other co-host who's not here right now, he actually is located in Colorado. He works for a company called 10th Mountain Whiskey. And I lived in Colorado for a number of years. I was up in Boulder, Colorado. And there is, I can't remember if it was Hazel's or there's a couple different liquor stores I used to hunt at. But I remember coming seeing the bottle on the shelf. It was one of those, and again at that point I'm like, what the hell is this whiskey? Or what's a rice spirit? What do you mean you can make spirits out of rice? But I didn't get to try it. I think Brian did. So he'd have more of like that first impression. My first impression taste wise was when you guys graciously gave us this. But like again, it's like my first foray into that was like, you can do something like that. And I think that was one of those turning points for me, like when I was just like, oh shit, rice. Oh, you can do this. Like, you guys mentioned something earlier that I kind of wanted to talk about too, is that you said this is an underrepresented category. So was American single malts about 5 years ago, and now it's an actual category. So that for anybody that ever sits there and thinks, oh well, you know, it's not the norm. It's not what people are typically doing. Oh, it's new. Oh, I've never heard of it. Never count that out. Explore, because you never know when these things are going to be like official and out there, and you want to kind of be there at the forefront that you guys tried these kind of things. So definitely, again, I didn't get to try it back there when I saw it. I was also buying too much at that point. Like I was buying like way too much whiskey. So like, and that's probably another reason why I didn't like. Likewise. But no, again, now having tried it, it's I want to be exploring you guys. But again, any releases coming up that you guys can talk about?
Not yet. I mean, we're still, we've got our hands full with the 3 that we released at the same time, and we've got some territory to claim. So cool. I think we're good for now. Yeah.
Okay. So it's moving with like what you guys have. Yeah.
We're everywhere right now.
Yeah. So you said
I don't even know what time zone I'm in.
Right?
Yeah, so I'm based in Canada, but Sondra and I travel, say 2 to 3 weeks out of every month, and we have now 7 states across the US. We have Paris and the UK, and we are getting demand in the UAE. We're getting demand in Spain. We're getting demand in Argentina. So we have a lot of people chasing us now, and now it's kind of we're in that growth period, which we're very excited for.
That's amazing.
Exciting.
That's amazing. Sondra, where are you based out of, Sondra?
LA. So
nice.
I'm sort of doing, so I do LA, Paris, London.
Okay. I used to live in LA. I lived in Santa Monica for 5 years and Culver City for about 4 years.
LA is great.
Yeah, it's I miss LA, if I'm being honest with you. There's a fantastic whiskey bar there called Tam O'Shanter that I used to go to quite a bit. It's
I don't know that one.
Echo Park area kind of.
Okay.
The Valley. So it's a cool little bar. And they have a lot of really interesting a selection there for sure. That's awesome. I love that you guys are like, that's the thing. Like I love that that you guys got to obviously meet in person and do all these things, and it's really cool to hear that the demand is happening, especially in those countries, because that's huge. Especially the UAE, like, that's the one you want. They'll drink a lot and they will buy a lot. So that's really amazing. And genuinely, guys, thank you so much. Again, my goal when we took over Bourbon with Friends was to not just interview bourbon anymore. I like bourbon. It's not that I don't, and I genuinely do. But I think a lot of our goals was to introduce the world to the world. I say world. We got, I don't know how many listeners we have, but like a good amount of people, like to introduce the people that we, interact with to different kinds of things. And today I think is been a pretty cool one to introduce you guys to MUJEN. So everybody, I can't do it because I don't know how to edit things. But Joe, Joe at this point will probably put a ticker across the bottom of the screen that says your guys' website. So he's very good about that. So he'll lead you guys to that. But genuinely, guys, go check out MUJEN Spirits. Caylee, Sondra, thank you so much for joining us on Bourbon with Friends.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really, what a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. I don't know the outro, so Adrian, if you know how to do it.
I was gonna say I can handle it. I think.
They didn't seem confident.
It's so funny because this is not we're each doing parts we don't normally do, but thank you truly, you guys. It's been so much fun talking to you today. Remember, everybody, a bourbon with friends, a bourbon or spirit with friends can change the world.
You did.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.
All right, and then I gotta hit end recording, I think.
That's it for this episode of Bourbon with Friends. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a review to make it easier for others to find the show. You can also check us out on Instagram at BWF Podcast. Thanks for listening.